Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're getting right into a case that's really captured global attention. The federal sex trafficking and racketeering trial of Sean Diddy Combs. Our focus today is day 27. We want to cut through the noise, give you the crucial updates, really the shortcut to being well informed on what just happened.
Yeah, it's pretty remarkable, actually, how much ground they covered in what was, a shortened session. This wasn't just any day in court. It felt like a clear signal that things are moving quickly towards a conclusion here. And the charges, well, they're incredibly serious. Combs is facing 5 federal counts, racketeering conspiracy, sex trafficking included. If convicted, that's potentially, at least 15 years.
Okay, so let's unpack that pivotal day, Friday, June 20th, 2025. It came after a couple of unexpected days off, right? There was that juror's medical issue, vertigo, I think?
That's right, vertigo. And then the Juneteenth holiday. So a bit of a stop-start.
And before that, we even had a juror dismissed for lack of candor. So you have these breaks, this juror replacement. How does that sort of thing impact the jury? Does it affect the rhythm of the trial for them?
That's a really important question. These kinds of interruptions, and especially dismissing a juror, replacing them with, I believe, a 57-year-old accountant, it does create discontinuity. For the jury, it can disrupt their focus, the way they're following the story, the narrative flow. It also sends a pretty clear message from the court, about just how vital jury integrity is. Which is necessary, of course, but it's another thing for them to process.
Right. Now, probably the biggest thing from day 27, the testimony everyone was waiting for, Brendan Paul. Combs' former personal assistant, and he had immunity. What did we actually learn from him? Why was his testimony considered so key for the prosecution?
Well, Paul's testimony is definitely a cornerstone for the prosecution's case. He's an insider. And remember, he got immunity, he was arrested earlier with Combs, had those drugs on him, took a plea deal. So he's offering this unique inside look. He basically said his job was just to make Diddy happy. He described these really intense, almost sleepless work conditions. And he even mentioned Combs comparing his staff to SEAL Team 6.
SEAL Team 6, that's quite a comparison.
It is, and it's potent for the prosecution. It helps them frame Combs' whole operation as this, highly disciplined, almost militaristic enterprise. That's absolutely crucial for proving racketeering, showing it wasn't just random acts, but something systemic.
Okay, so that's the insider view, but the prosecution didn't stop there, did they? They brought in other evidence, graphic stuff, digital stuff.
Oh, absolutely, a lot of it.
Right.
The jury saw nearly 20 minutes of explicit videos. Prosecutors called them freak-off videos. These allegedly involved Cassie Ventura, dating back to 2012 and 2014. So the prosecution is using this to try and show a pattern over time. Yeah. And then there were texts and audio from Kristina Khorram. She was described as Combs' right-hand woman, apparently detailing her knowledge of what went on behind closed doors. Plus, Special Agent Cerciello testified. He talked about hotel damage incidents, reviewed travel records from when Combs was allegedly seeing Jane. So they're connecting objective data travel, hotel records directly to these alleged activities, trying to paint that picture of a whole criminal enterprise. It's a very concerted effort.
So with all this coming out and coming out fast, what's the timeline look like now? We're hearing the prosecution might rest its case very soon.
That's the word. The prosecution intends to rest next week. And the defense, they're saying their presentation will be brief, like a day or so, maybe up to 5 days, but short.
And Combs himself won't testify.
Correct. He will not be taking the stand. So everything's moving towards a conclusion, possibly before the July 4th holiday, which, puts enormous pressure on the jury. They have to process all this complex, really emotionally charged information and do it efficiently. It's basically a sprint to the finish line now.
What a packed day 27. I mean, from Brendan Paul's insider account to that really stark visual evidence, this deep dive hopefully gave you those crucial insights. You can see how this trial is just hurtling towards its end.
Absolutely. The sheer amount of evidence and the nature of it, especially from this last day, it's undoubtedly going to weigh heavily on the jury as they head towards deliberations.
So as this trial speeds towards a verdict, here's something to think about. In this kind of high-stakes, really fast-paced legal setting, how do you strike that balance? The balance between getting things done efficiently and ensuring the deliberation is truly thorough for justice to be served.